How's fourth year going, buddy?
Could be better.
Feel like I hardly see anyone anymore. Wonder why.
Well, we still got each other.
But you know who I see the most of these days?
The prophet who decides our future.
Yeah, I have some questions I'd like to ask her.
Oh, my friend. Me too.
Shall we?
There it goes.
Before we start, I need to know, where is the nearest bathroom?
Yeah.
There was a year where I got it in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Need is a small bite.
Woo!
But we're done.
Oh, no!
Welcome to the final Hot Ones. I'm Chris.
And I'm John.
And we are sitting down today with the prolific and famous Dr. Deemer. Dr. Deemer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm kind of excited.
I'm so glad. Now, how's your spice tolerance?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay, well, we
I
hope...
have to do it since everybody else did.
Yeah. So, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you.
Why don't we go ahead and just start with a warm-up question?
All right.
No win just yet, but we want to know how you got involved with career advising. How did it become such an important part of your career?
You know, I don't know if I've told you guys this. When I was in medical school, my first year, I did OBGYN.
Mm-hmm.
And decided after delivering way too many babies that it was not for me. And then switched to internal medicine. And so I think I learned something from that. And then I was program director when Jewish Hospital was a separate residency program for several years. Dorothy Andrew was the dean doing this. When she moved on, I was approached by Dean Peck, who was a dean at the time, to ask if I was interested. So that was 22 years ago.
Wow.
So, Dean Deemer, you said you've been doing this for 22 years. The question is, when are you going to retire?
That's a tough one. That's already the toughest one. I really, really like doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Clinical stuff's getting more. I know I took something down wrong, but that's okay. That'll be good for this. What I'm planning on doing is cutting back a little bit on my clinical stuff, and then try to do this as long as I can.
Gotcha.
Although sometimes, it's good to get some new blood. So.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to think about maybe bringing somebody else on.
Gotcha.
This is about the equivalency of Tabasco.
I like Tabasco.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
If you were matching this year, what would have been your walk-up song?
That's really funny that you say that, because I thought about that the other day. I wish I would have thought a little longer so I could tell you something really good. I like Hamilton, so it might have been something from Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
And this is kind of crazy, but a good friend of mine is a rapper.
Oh, really?
Yep. That's
Nelly?
No. But his group is called Suicide Boys.
Oh,
and it's
boy.
Pretty kind of raunchy words and stuff, but I kind of like it. I when they were in St. Louis, I went to their concert. They were at the Factory in Chesterfield.
Yeah.
That place. I was by far the oldest person there, and the only one that was sober. But it was pretty cool because there was this huge line of everybody waiting to see, to get in. And so when I got there, I went to will call, and he came. His stage name is Ruby. He came out to get me. The crowd went wild.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of cool. We got to see their tour bus and everything.
That's awesome. So maybe something by them, huh?
Yeah, we just had to be carefully
cropped.
Yes. Yep. You see how I'm taking these baby bites out of them?
Oh, yeah, we see.
Alright, the third question is, we know as medical students, well, at some level, neurotic. So, in the weeks leading up to match day, how many emails does your office end up getting on an average basis daily?
It varies a little bit, but I would say over 100. Especially those weeks right beforehand. And what kind of gets frustrating is sometimes it was a 10 o'clock email and it's noon.
Yeah.
You haven't answered my email yet. So some of those are just repeats.
Yeah, so your job really ramps up.
Yeah, it
Like,
really
because-
does. And that's why Angie keeps an eye. At the end of the day, she'll always say, you didn't answer this one, you didn't answer this one. Or most of the time she can answer them.
Yeah.
And so then all I have to put is agree, agree, agree.
Agree. We're gonna do St. Louis rapid fire.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm just gonna say your favorite blank, and you got to tell us the first
Oh
thing
my
that comes
gosh,
to your mind.
okay.
All
Remember,
right?
I'm 60 years old. My brain doesn't work that
I have faith in you.
Okay.
All right. Your favorite date spot.
What's the place down by the brewery? City Street.
Oh, love it.
City Street Cafe.
Yep.
Would that also be your favorite dinner restaurant?
You know, there's a lot. There's so many good. I like Beacha here. Annie Gunn's.
Favorite place in the hospital or med school?
Probably in this office here. I used to love to walk through children sometimes, so and see the kids.
Yes. And then finally, your favorite hidden gem that no one knows about.
You know, I think the parks, like Queenie Park and Babler Park, because I'm a horse person, and so we bring our horses out.
But we're starting to get to the heat territory. All right.
Gotta make sure I get some on here. But not too much.
Yeah, you got to save that for this. Earlier, you mentioned about changing your residency 1 year into your internship. What were some of the reasons you decided to switch, and how did you kind of handle that decision professionally with your program director?
Yeah, I trained in Kansas City at Truman Medical Center. It was an inner city hospital, lots of young patients. Yeah, that one's pretty hot. So, and then one night, after I'd done like, I don't know, 10 or 11 deliveries, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I finally had a minute, and one of the nurses got me a sandwich, and I got getting all the paperwork done. In walks another woman in labor. And I looked at her and went, oh no, to her face. And I was so mortified the next day. I don't know if this should go on there or not. I went to the chairman of the OB/GYN department and said, do you know what I did last night? Oh, you were just tired, it's all okay. It's like, no, that's not okay. And I realized there was a lot of things I liked about it. But a lot of what I liked was the endocrine infertility, the high risk OB. So it was medicine. And we did medicine when we did it. So the first thing I did, which is I tell everybody if they are changing their mind, which happens every couple of years, you got to tell your department first, because no one's going to talk to you until you do that.
And then, like, personally, kind of working through this career change, very difficult decisions, did you have a lot of support? Did you feel like no one really, was judging, anything like that? You felt fine?
Yeah, we didn't have a me at UMKC. So I really didn't have anybody like that to talk to about it. A lot of the faculty in OB/GYN were very supportive, as was the Department of Medicine there. I could have easily stayed there. And so I just used that. My family, my sister's a plastic surgeon, and she was training here in general surgery at the time. She was doing grand rounds for plastics here, because she's in private practice but does a lot of research. And when she walked in, some of the students were like, what are you doing here? So I usually tell the class, if you see somebody and you're asking questions and you're getting weird answers, because she'll try to answer them, I said, it's not me.
So if you've ever wondered how she could be in two places at once, now you know.
I don't want to be a baby and not take any, but
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
okay.
All right.
Better than Dr. Glass.
It's question 7. So Chris aside, what is the worst comment on an evaluation that you've had to try to spin in a positive light on an MSP?
There's been some bad ones. And there was, years ago, Dan Goodenberger, who I think is at the VA now. He was the program director here. He wrote a paper for one of the teaching journals that was called the Devil's Dean's Letter. You know, it'd be like, you know, they'd say things like, very, not emotional, what did they say? Very caring. And they said, cries all the time. You know, all this stuff like that. It's hysterical. I'll have to see if I can find that because he put those things in there.
So how do you write that though?
Like I said, if it's only in one, but if it's in a lot of them, I have to. And we had one student that always fell asleep in rounds and in conferences and stuff. And with him, because it was over and over again, we had to say he needs help or guidance in sleep hygiene.
He needs guidance.
Have the milk close by.
Okay.
And be careful with your hands.
Oh yeah.
Finish it.
Oh, here.
It tastes of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I did take pretty good bite out of it.
You did, yeah. Okay.
I'm prophylactically drinking milk.
We talked earlier about the rising number of medical student applicants for not as highly rising medical residency spots.
Right.
The match is old. Is the match still the best way to do things?
I think so.
And why do you think so?
Because in the olden days before the match, you would go, interview, and let's say your first place you interviewed at was Cleveland Clinic. But next week you had, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, but next week you have Northwestern or MGH. They would offer you a spot then. If you didn't take it, you had to wait for the next one. So I think this is a more fair way to do it because it gives you time to balance it. That one is hot.
That one is hot.
I'm suffering right now.
I'm gonna need a little more milk.
You're gonna need, let's get Brandon the milk, please, Brandon. Brandon, send in the milk.
You know, I might need a little more milk as well.
I need too, Brandon.
I'm gonna take a tiny.
All right, cheers.
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 Come on, Chris. At least you can finish it. Finish it.
I really took a baby bite on that one. Sorry.
All right. So someone hasn't hit me yet. All right. No, I'm just chill.
John, hurry up, man. It's coming. It's coming on.
I know. That's really hot.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow.
Dean Deemer. So, in relation to the question we asked last, at a top institution like WashU, why are there still so many brilliant and amazing students here that end up going unmatched?
Some years it just sucks. You know, we had a few surprises this year that I absolutely had no concern about at all. Sometimes it could be a mismatch in specialty. And the number one reason, by far, because when somebody doesn't match, I contact every program they interviewed with to ask for feedback. Most of the time what I hear is, it was that competitive a year. They were the next one down or a couple down from that. That's hot.
You're doing a great job. Well, that's the end of the interview.
Oh, we survived.
You survived the Hot Ones Challenge. Thank you so much for coming on.
Do you have any last minute shout outs, any comments you want to make to the class of 2022?
Well, thank you for your hard work, and I'm very proud of all of you. It was really a great match. So, and thank you guys for this really fun experience. I watched that probably 4 times.
The whole video?
The whole video.
Oh, yeah.
I'm such a loser, but you know, you just catch something every time because in the midst of the ceremony, I just don't see everything that's going on. You know?
Totally.
What I would recommend for you guys, have fun. This is the longest you're gonna have days off in a row for a long time. Don't think about medicine.
Hear that?
You hear that, guys?
I'm looking at you, David Zane.
Questioning my existence, questioning my